Take three. Hello, planet Earth. I just did a video for a tarot reading, and I thought while I've got the camera out, I'd do another quick one. Um, and this one is in regards to fasting because it has been a real game changer for me in regards to healing. Now, when I first mentioned to people about fasting, the look on their face, the look of horror on their face, it's amazing. And I have to say, a few years ago, that would have been me. I was a real foodie, and I did go through a period where I was a bit of a food snob, so I liked really fine dining. Um, but I also liked my junk food. Nothing better on a Friday night to go to the Chippy and get a plate of chips, or go get a pizza, or one of my favorite things was to sit and watch a film, big bowl of crisps, some French onion dip, a glass of champagne. I know, very weird combination, but I loved food. I loved the junk food and I loved fine dining. I loved it all. However, I had some health issues and it was very interesting. It wasn't my voice, but it was like a voice talking to me. So I had an issue where I suffered from exhaustion. I just overworked myself and I was so tired, and I'd had a couple of breaks from work, little breaks where the doctor had signed me off for a couple of weeks here and there, and I would rest the whole time I was off, but it didn't change anything. And so I got signed off at another point in time, and it was just strange that there was like this voice in my head that says, clean your diet. And I mean, then and there, I decided, right, I'm going to stop eating certain things. And so I deleted loads of stuff from my diet. I deleted sugar and chemicals, anything that's made somewhere else, I pretty much avoid. Um, so I cooked all myself. I did go see a nutritionist to get some ideas on what to do because I was so exhausted, and I realized that making healthy things was a step forward, but I didn't have the energy. So, she was able to devise some ways that I could make things and still function. Because that's the thing, is when you've got no energy, you can't function, but you need some health, some healthy eating to get back on the road to recovery. So I basically used myself as guinea pig, and I tried lots of different modalities to help me heal. I was desperate because not only just exhaustion, but I had lots of other symptoms as well. And so I used myself as guinea pig. So I tried different herbal remedies, different supplements. As I said, I went to see a nutritionist. I went for other types of healing. So I did energy healing, reflexology, acupuncture. I go to the chiropractor regularly anyway. So I did lots of things to help support my healing journey. And it actually helped, and I moved forward, and my health was getting better and better, and I realized it probably took me many years to get poorly, so it's going to take many years to get healthy. So the time aspect of it never bothered me. It seems to bother other people because I've had other people say, how long until you're feeling well again? And I say, well, it's a an ongoing thing. So I feel much better now. But one of the things that I introduced about 2-ish years ago was fasting. And the initially my, like I said, when I first read about it, or it was, I watched a video, it suggested, I thought, no, I love my food too much. But what I found is it actually really helped. And when I thought about it logically, because I do tend to I have a lot of me time, and I do get into my head, and I think about lots of weird and wonderful things. And just pondering it out on a walk one day, I thought, but actually it makes sense because our ancestors would not have eaten, certainly not 3 meals a day, and they wouldn't have eaten every day. Because if you think about the logic of living in simpler times, especially when we were hunters and gatherers, there would be times of the year that would be very little vegetation and maybe very little game around. I don't know what we might have survived on smaller mammals, who knows. So there would be times where there would be, I guess for want of a better word, a famine. So we might go a few days before we could find something edible. And then when the group, I don't know, village, I don't know how we lived back then, but let's say the village got together and they, were able to kill a deer or whatever, and it might feed the village. And then we would feast on it because we had no refrigerators, so there was no way to keep food. So it makes sense that we went through periods of feast and famine. So from a biological perspective, it made sense. So I thought, I'm not in any danger because biologically we're made for this. And if you look at a lot of wild animals, that's how they live. Um, you know, like lions and there's certain other, like snakes. I've heard the big snakes, like the big constrictors and that, they don't eat every day. Lions don't eat every day because when they kill, that those calories and that meal will last them for a while. So it made perfect sense. So I knew I wasn't in any kind of medical danger, and I was healthy other than just healing from exhaustion. And I said I had other symptoms as well, and I was using myself as guinea pig. I did not get like formal medical advice. My allopathic doctor wasn't interested. I did go to her first. She wasn't interested, and so I realized I had to figure it out myself. So, so when if you hear or read about fasting, please don't dismiss it because it is a major game changer in healing. And I'll just say a little story. So to back up a little bit. So I've been doing this for 2-ish years. So I didn't start off one day and say, "Hey, I'm going to fast for 36 hours." So it wasn't like that. I started out very simply. I said, "Right, for a 12-hour period, I'm not going to eat." Now, most of that 12 hours, I was asleep. That's easy. It's so easy. You can do it in your sleep, basically. You fast while you sleep. And I would do it one week a day, or sorry, one day a week, and then I would eat normally. And then the next week rolled around and thought, okay, today's fasting. We're going to do 13 hours. And I just kept increasing it by an hour. Then when I got to a point where maybe I felt it was too much and my body was feeling hungry, I thought, okay, let's do for a couple of weeks. We're just going to keep it static. So let's say I got up to 16 and I thought, I struggled to do the 16 hours. So the following week, I might have done 16 again until my body was fine with it. So it was in little bits. It wasn't just I woke up one morning and decided to do this. Now, some people do, and that's great, but it didn't fit for me because I loved my food so much. Roll on a few years later, where I'm at now, I actually only eat one meal a day. I do have, not every day I have snacks, but sometimes I have snacks. So if I feel peckish in the day, I'll have an apple, an orange, a banana. I might do a juice. Celery juice is something that is my go-to. So I might do a celery juice. Um, I do drink teas, so I'll have black tea or herbal tea or green tea. Um, and Other than that, I just take it an hour by an hour. I don't pressure myself. I never prevent myself from eating. So if I was really hungry, I'd go and eat. A lot of times, if I have a drink of water, I feel fine. So my body is so acclimatized to it that I eat basically one meal a day. So I will fast. I haven't even eaten anything today, and it's now coming up for 6:30 in the evening. So I have an evening meal, which I'm going to go cook shortly. And after I eat that, I'll have nothing until the next evening. And again, like I say, I don't refuse myself anything. If I got up tomorrow and by 2 in the afternoon I felt really peckish, I have a handful of nuts. I'll have an apple. I'll have something, and usually that does it. Um, but just wanted to relay a little story that happened last week. I'm conscious of the time, and I know that everybody's time is valuable, so I don't want to take up too much time with this story. Last week, I was feeling a bit under the weather. Now, I have a belief that when I'm feeling that way, it is my body detoxing because detox can bring up symptoms, whether it's a rash or a migraine or sore throat. So it's what resonates with me is when I'm going through symptoms, those symptoms are a reflection of my body trying to let go of something. And when I detox, it's detoxing not just the physical, but I'm detoxing mind, body, and spirit. So everything for me to be in balance or in ease. So dis-ease is a lack of ease, I guess, for want of a better explanation. It has to be a balance of mind, body, and spirit. And I might do another video on another time on how that works because I see very instant things. Sometimes if I'm in a grumpy mood, an hour later I'll have a migraine because it's like my body is reacting directly to my emotional state. And it used to be kind of a longer time in between kind of an emotional thing, an emotional outpouring, and the physical um, the physical symptom of it. But now it's like instant. It kind of makes me laugh, and I have to keep a sense of humor about it because you don't want to see me with a migraine. It's a horrible thing. Um, but last week I was feeling under the weather. So I had a cough that would not let up. It was a dry cough, unproductive, kept me up at night. So I wasn't sleeping well. I had a migraine. I had some skin issues. My eczema was coming up and was really irritating me. And so all these things were coming up, and I thought I need fast, or a longer fast, because I've done different lengths. The longest I've ever fasted in one set is 52 hours, I think it is. And I felt great at the end. I didn't want to stop, but I thought, come on, you need to do your feasting. Because actually, at the end of fasting, you do some feasting. There's certain things that you do to get out of it, to help rebuild your system, and then you go back to eating, but you want a little bit of a feast. Not too much. No chips and, champagne anymore. Those days are gone. So I was feeling this way. So on the Saturday night, I decided, right, I'm going to fast for at least 24 hours just to see how I feel. I ended up fasting a total of 36 hours. And then when I recommenced taking in nutrients, I did a juice cleanse. So it consisted of juices, just 5 juices throughout the day, and they each contain different fruits and vegetables in order to help cleanse the system and reboot your gut. I don't know the science behind it, but it's good. It gives you lots of nutrients, and it gives you what your body needs. I did the juice thing. The next day I woke up. No, I actually woke up with a migraine, the starting of a migraine, and they can get really rough. So if I've got a migraine coming on, can't even eat. I feel queasy actually. So the smell, the thought of food would actually set me off. So on the Wednesday, I decided I'm just going to take it easy and just fast again, because obviously my body's still purging. I had some energy healing from a very kind friend. Cindy, you know who you are. And within an hour, the headache was gone and I was feeling better. And a couple hours later, I was able to have a little bit of porridge. So within that space of Saturday night to Wednesday night, there was very little intake of food and nutrients. But you know what? By Thursday, Friday, cough was completely gone. And I felt so much better because I had some sinus issues as well. So lots of pressure, all gone. My skin inflammation, all gone. And I felt really good. So it is helpful, fasting. So if you hear about it, read about it, explore it a bit, and even if all you can manage is, say, 15 hours a day or 15 hours one day a week, do it, because that pause that you're giving your system makes a great big a difference on the healing processes. And as I said, and if you just go back in time and look what our ancestors did, in wintertime we didn't eat very much because there was nothing there. There was no berries, there was nothing, well, very little was growing. So, you know, take a leaf out of the book of your ancestors. Your ancestors knew, they were very smart, and they were much healthier than we are. They didn't have any, cornflakes and chips and whatever it is that you like. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. I hope you give fasting a try. And if you have done, put in your comments below what you've done, what you like about fasting, what you dislike about fasting, what your struggles are. I'm happy to share my journey with anyone who's willing to listen. But bear in mind, your journey is going to be different. So if you are able to, I'd say use yourself as guinea pig. Try those different modalities that seem to fit in your life, and you will find the answer. You honestly will. Your soul, your gut, your instinct, very, very smart. So listen to it. On that note, thank you very much for listening. Have a very wonderful day wherever you are on planet Earth. Much love and many blessings to you, and namaste.